So guys, welcome back to another video on the channel. We're back for some more transfer rumours and we got a lot of action to talk over in today's video. Some massive completed deals have gone through, some pretty big players departing from the Championship, and of course we've got some transfer rumours. So as always, get all your thoughts in the comments down below. Also to mention as well, tomorrow will be when my Championship weekly score predictions will be returning as well. Very excited to get them back. Before we do hop into anything though, a big shout out to our sponsors over at OneFootball. As always, you can find the new OneFootball up in the top line of the description down below. Like I said, as we are heading into this new season, OneFootball's really handy to have to stay on top of everything if you want the latest transfer rumours and articles around your club, and to get live updates to your phone whenever a goal does go in this new season. Then OneFootball is really handy to have. You can now also watch selected Champions League and Europa League qualifying matches for free on the OneFootball app, so loads of features about it. Like I said, check it out in the link down below. But without any further ado, let's hop into some completed deals. So we may as well start out with Bristol City, who have been very busy over the past few days with some transfer business. Alfie Mawson, the first of which he completes a season-long loan coming over from Fulham. Didn't have the greatest of times with Fulham last season, did he? He was in and out of the squad. A player who a lot of people had quite high hopes for after making the move from Swansea to Fulham for around about £20 million. He'll be hoping to rekindle his form that he showed at Swansea, and I think that in some ways he may be more suited to a back three that Bristol City seem to be angling for this season. Some defenders just seem to be a lot more equipped for that sort of style, and I think that Alfie Mawson could fall into that category. Chris Brunt also signed on a one-year deal. He comes over as a free transfer. I don't expect he'll get all too much game time this season, but comes in as an experienced head, and I think will add a bit to the dressing room. And they've also got young fullback Steven Sessegnon on loan from Fulham for this season, the 20-year-old who made a handful of appearances for them last season. I think that this one could be a bit of savvy business from Bristol City once again, who I have to say have really smashed this transfer window so far. Outright wing-back, they were a little bit short of options. Jack Hunt was their only sort of feasible option in that role, so they were always going to need a bit more depth after not having Pereira anymore. And Sessegnon seems to be a natural fit into that role, you know, a good attacking fullback, a system that I think will suit him, a good deal for all parties. One player leaving Bristol City is Sammy Szmodics. Their midfield was looking quite overloaded, had a good loan spell with Peterborough last season and has now made that move permanent. Cardiff have completed the loan signing of Shea Yojo coming from Liverpool for the season. He spent last season out in Scotland with Rangers where he scored 5 goals. From what I've read, seems to be a player who has flashes of brilliance but just needs to nail down that consistency. Got a turn of pace about him and can beat a man. It's just his final product isn't always there, so we'll see if he can refine that this time round in the Championship, where he has played before. He's previously had loan spells at Wigan, Wolves and Fulham at this level, and at 23 years old now, this is the time where he's looking to kick on. Barnsley have signed former Liverpool midfielder Isaac Christie-Davis. He comes in, fits their recruitment plan of a young player who they're looking to develop. 22 years old, has previously played for Liverpool in Chelsea's under-21s. Newcastle have been busy shopping in the Championship recently. They completed the signing of Bournemouth striker Callum Wilson. I think a lot of people saw this one coming. He was always going to be linked away and get that move back to the Premier League, wasn't he? I think it's one that could work out for all parties. The fee in the end being around about 20 million, and one of the biggest benefactors from this is actually Coventry, who had a sell-on. I think that clause around 10%, so Coventry will receive around £2 million for this deal. They also completed the signing of Norwich City left-back Jamal Lewis coming over for around about 15 million. I think once again this is one where all parties win. Obviously Jamal gets his move to the Premier League, previously being linked with Liverpool. Norwich get a pretty good fee for him, and they already have the ready-made replacements in the squad. You know, long-term I think that Sam McCallum was brought in to fill that role coming over from Coventry. They also brought in Javi Quintilla in the summer as well. They have Sam Byram who can play in that role. So Norwich are more than stocked to deal with this one. We then had Sheffield United completing the double signing of Lowe and Bogle from Derby. Lowe I think did well for Derby last season, but they have the people in the squad who can step in and replace him. Bogle on the other hand, I think that attacking intent's going to be tough to replace. But I think that Sheffield United have got a very good deal here, especially for the money they paid, you know, 10 to 15 million for both of them. Considering what Matty Cash went for Aston Villa, Sheffield United have got a really decent deal here, especially for the system they play. I think that Bogle especially will be a perfect fit into that. Doucouré completed his move from Watford to Everton. This one's been on the cards for quite some time now, but it's finally been finalised. Udinese striker Parisi has come over to Watford as well. Looked to be a bit of a different option to what they have at the moment. Much more of a target man in the mould of 6'4". I think with his arrival, we're bound to see some departures with some of their strikers in the next few weeks. With Welbeck likely to be off, Deeney it's still very much up in the air. Huddersfield striker Steve Mounier has now completed the move to France. We spoke about this one in the last video as well, so Huddersfield definitely looking a little bit light moving forward now, especially if Colin Grant does follow him out the door as well. We've had a few rumours going around about him lately, haven't we? West Brom, the most strong link at the moment. Spanish defender Pipa has completed the move over to Huddersfield Town, under 21 international for Spain. He comes over from Espanyol. Carlos Corberán obviously using his connections to get this one done. And then to the big transfer story of the day, Ollie Watkins has completed the move to Aston Villa for a club record fee 28 million, which could rise all the way up to 33 million. Absolutely huge fees when we're talking about a championship player here. Overall, I think you have to say that Brentford have done very well. You know, the recruitment to bring in Ivan Toney, get that natural replacement before selling him, and then to get that fee itself. I mean, don't get me wrong, Ollie Watkins was phenomenal in the championship last season. You know, part of that BMW forward three, scored 26 goals. Good age as well, at only 24 years old, so can still continue to go in and get better. English, so brings that premium with it. And to be honest, I think there's a bit of a Brentford premium as well. When they're selling one of their players, they always seem to go for a little bit more, don't they? They do excellent business in the transfer market. There was a whole host of clubs interested, but in the end it has been Aston Villa who have got this one over the line. Now, we spoke about Aston Villa in quite detail in my last video. Striker was the obvious position where they needed to strengthen, and Ollie Watkins comes in as a different option to what they already have, but a massive improvement. Someone who can be quite dynamic off the ball, but also has those natural instincts in front of goal as well. It's pretty crazy to consider that before last season as well, he wasn't even particularly considered as a number 9, was he? He mostly played out on that right hand side for Brentford, but after the sale of Neil Maupay, he was the man to step up. The gamble from Aston Villa's side of things is they've spent a lot of money on Ollie Watkins, and he's never played at that level before. And so it'd be very interesting to get Brentford fans' views of how do you think Watkins will take that step up. You know, we've seen varying success of strikers leaving the Championship and going to the Premier League. You know, Neil Maupay, I think, managed to step up pretty well. Che Adams, it's taken him a little bit of time to get going. How many goals do you reckon Ollie Watkins will score in the Premier League next season? Let me know down below. And we've seen Stoke complete the signing of Barnsley forward Jacob Brown. Now, one of my only reservations about Stoke's recruitment so far in this window has been they've been going for, you know, players over the age of 30, which does add championship experience, but also for the longevity of the squad. I thought they would have also looked to recruit some youngsters, and Jacob Brown ticks a lot of boxes for me. I very much like him. Very dynamic forward. He played as a forward too at Stoke, but can also play out on that right hand side. Got 3 goals and 9 assists last season. Brilliant presser, good player on the ball, good link-up man as well. I think that he does have areas of his game to develop, you know, his finishing for one, but he gets into some very good areas, and I think that for a fee of only around £2 million, Stoke have got a very good deal there. But guys, there were some of the completed deals which have gone through in the past few days. If you've seen any that we missed, then let me know about them in the comments down below. But without any further ado, let's get into some transfer rumours. So we'll start out with Derby. It's obvious that they're looking for that Jayden Bogle replacement, and one player who could be the perfect fit is Nathan Byrne from Wigan, in exactly the same mould, albeit a little bit older than Bogle at 28 years old. Very similar games they both play. As an attacking fullback for Wigan last season, I've been amazed that there's not been more interest in him so far. You know, we've seen a bit of a fire sale going on at the Latics so far this season, but Nathan Byrne's someone who still remains there. With 1 goal and 7 assists last season for Wigan, he ended the season absolutely brilliantly and also massively improved defensively. I've always quite rated Nathan Byrne as an attacking fullback. You know, as a wing back, I thought he was always pretty good, but defensively I always thought he could get caught out from time to time, but last season seemed to really improve that. He was part of that Wigan defence that was so solid. Another area Derby are looking into strengthening is another winger. They're in need of a few more forward options, and Kamil Joswiak has been the name on everyone's lips recently for Derby, and by all accounts looks to be a very promising player who, if they do get this one over the line, seriously could be a bit of underrated business from Derby. He's got an excellent record in the Polish league. Currently playing for Lech Poznan. Last season got 9 goals and 7 assists, can either play on the left or the right, got abundance of pace about him. Polish international as well, and has got quite a bit of pedigree about him at only 22 years old. Seriously promising bit of business if they do get that one done. French winger Samuel Grant has also been linked with Derby County as well, possibly as an alternative if they don't get the other deal done, but I mean, if they went and pursued both players, then their squad would be looking scary coming into this season. But 24 years old, another really dynamic and exciting winger. He's currently playing for Monaco. Last season had a loan move out to Brest where he scored 3 goals. I think what's exciting about Derby at the moment is they are looking to tap into these foreign markets. I think there's real value to be had here. You know, we've seen some of the inflated transfer fees that English players have gone for, you know, none less than Ollie Watkins, who we've seen today. So I really do like how Derby are looking to go into these avenues. And with Ollie Watkins now at Aston Villa, that could speed up the process for North End looking for a striker. Keenan Davis has been one player who we have identified and have been interested in, so this one could be sped up by that move now going through. Now, Keenan Davis is an interesting one. I think he has a lot of the qualities that Alex Neil's looking for in a striker in terms of the physicality, a bit of the mobility as well, the work that he does off the ball and the ability to link up with others. However, his goal scoring record so far hasn't completely got going. He's just scored 4 goals at professional first team level so far. A lot of the minutes that he got for Villa last season were off the bench. He stands at 6'3" and he is 22 years old now, so by no means like a teenager who's just bursting onto the scene. This is the part of his career where he's really looking to settle down. I think it's a feasible one for North End, but we'll see what Villa have planned for him. Another transfer that could affect as well, Scott Hogan of Aston Villa. Birmingham still hopeful to get this one over the line. Now, pre-lockdown Scott Hogan at Birmingham, oh my god, he was absolutely ripping things up for them, wasn't he? And with Karanka looking for a striker with a bit more mobility who's going to be able to lead a press going forward, Hogan does fit into that sort of mould. And if he can rekindle his form from when he first joined Birmingham, I think that'd be a decent option. 28 years old. If it wasn't a stupid transfer fee, I think that would be a good deal. Another striker being linked around at the moment, Kenneth Zohore. Sheffield Wednesday are now in the race to sign him. Now, if Middlesbrough miss out on another target, the amount of people that Middlesbrough have been linked to in this transfer window so far, where it's been obvious that they've had an interest in them and then they've ended up missing out on the player and they've gone somewhere else. It's been absolutely crazy, but we spoke about their interest last time in Kenneth Zohore. It now appears that Wednesday are in for him. Now, for Sheffield Wednesday, strengthening their forward line is imperative for me with that -12 point deduction coming into this season. They need to be looking as strong as possible. And I think that Zohore could be a decent alternative to Stephen Fletcher, who they lost. I said this last time, I don't think he was the best of fits at West Brom. I think they'd be happy to see him go out on loan this time round and see them getting another striker who fits their system a little bit more. When given a proper run of games, he has scored goals at this level before. You know, he got into double figures with Cardiff. And I think especially if you get people in and around him or you play it too, he can be quite effective. So say a Zohore and a Windass running off him, I think that could be a pretty good pairing. Speaking of Middlesbrough though, one player who it does look like they will get over the line is goalkeeper Marcus Bettinelli. He looks set to join them on a season-long loan, by all accounts having a medical there today. Now, Warnock has spoken quite openly about wanting a new goalkeeper, so Bettinelli comes in, adds quite a bit of experience into that role, you know, been promoted with Fulham before. Lost his place partway through last season, didn't he, due to his form dipping a little bit. I think in his last 14 games he's considered 16 goals now, but no doubt there is still a good goalkeeper in there, and sometimes a goalkeeper needs a move like that to just reshape their career a little bit, don't they? Another goalkeeper being linked away, an interesting one this time around, David Raya being linked with a move to Arsenal. Now, with Emi Martinez possibly departing, I know that Aston Villa have been linked with him. Arsenal are potentially in the market for another number 2 goalkeeper, and Raya has cropped up on their radar. Now, in terms of distribution, in terms of a ball-playing goalkeeper, Raya's right up there in the Championship, probably the best actually, I'd say that. They signed him from Blackburn and overall had a really good time there, you know, their defensive record was excellent last season, although it's another one where I can't see Brentford willing to sell unless it was for an extortionate fee. And one story that's broke as of recording is Cardiff terminating the contract of Nathaniel Mendez-Laing. Now, there's obviously got to be more to this story than meets the eye. They released a really short and to the point statement saying that with immediate effect his contract has been terminated and that the club will not be making any further comments on the matter. So obviously something clearly has gone on here. As of recording, we don't know the severity of it, what's actually gone on behind the scenes, but you'd imagine there would be a host of Championship clubs in for him. I mean, when he got back from his injury, I thought he had a really good impact at Cardiff for the second half of the season. I think he's got a decent end product as well, so obviously something's gone on there behind the scenes. Swansea City attacking midfielder Bertrand Salina looks set to complete a move to Dijon. As of recording, it looks like this one's all but over the line. Shame that it didn't work out last season for Salina. Clearly didn't fit into the manager's plans there, because the season before that, under Graham Potter, I thought he was fantastic for Swansea. Very much a player who shows up in flashes, but certainly got something to him, still a very young player. Bit disappointed that we won't see more of him in the Championship, because I think that given the chance, I still do think there's a good player there. PSG defender Loic Mbissoa has been linked to quite a few Championship clubs, with Middlesbrough, Nottingham Forest and Norwich all linked with the French youngster. 19 years old, only got a year left in his contract at PSG. By all accounts, looks as if he's going to be off this summer, and a move to the Championship could be on the cards and could be a bit of shrewd business if anyone does manage to pick him up. But guys, there we have it. That will now wrap it up for today's video. So like always, if you've seen any others that we didn't mention in today's video, then get those rumours in the comments down below. Make sure to stay tuned on the channel as well for some regular Championship content. Tomorrow will be the return of our weekly Championship score predictions, which I'm absolutely buzzing for. But apart from that, guys, thanks so much for watching. If you went on to enjoy, make sure to subscribe. Stick around and subscribe for some regular Championship content as well. But apart from that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.